Do you remember when we were talking about being able to reference tasks that didn't exist, but were created on the fly? Well, how does that happen? Well, as it turns out, Gradle has both a configuration phase and an execution phase. And what's even cooler is that Gradle gives us a hook into that configuration phase via the DAG, or Directed Acyclic Graph. It can be yet another very powerful Gradle feature. So let's take a look at it a little bit more. I have a sample build.gradle file, and let's take a look at what we've got here. I've got a task that I'm calling build package, and in here I'm just giving a print line to print out a string with a version variable in it. And then I've got a task that says release, and it depends upon my build package task, and I'm printing out a message in there just to let you know that we are actually in that task and we're working with it. Now, if I were to call release, it's going to execute both release and build package. If I call just build package, it's only going to execute build package. That is pretty much granted. But let's look at this last closure I have down here, gradle.taskgraph.whenReady. This is accessing the DAG. And I'm asking the task graph, does the task graph, what I'm executing at this point in time, have the task release in it? Am I actually going to be executing release? If I am, then I want to set version to 1.0. If I'm not, then I want to set it to 1.0 snapshot. And that version variable, as we saw, is up here. So what should happen is if I run build package by itself, I am not running release, and I should have a 1.0-snapshot in my message. If I'm running release, and I do have that within my executing task graph, then I should have a version 1.0 message. So let's actually see that in action. And I'm going to run Gradle. I'm going to use the -Q option, and just as an FYI, this is going to keep Gradle quiet. All the normal Gradle messages and noise about the task we're in, it's going to go away, and it's going to reduce this down to just the print line statements that our build script is executing. Let's run build package. We execute, and again, you can see that because I don't have the release task executing, it says that it's a 1.0 snapshot version. Now, if I do the same thing and actually execute the release task, the version changes. Not only do I enter that task and I can do extra work, but I can change the version. How is this handy? Well, obviously, this allows us to change the behavior based upon just the task structures that we're working on. In this particular case, we can change the version numbers that we're working on to support our development processes. If we wanted to go a little bit further, we can actually change configuration files in there. This example is using tasks that I have explicitly defined. We can do the same thing by accessing dynamic tasks in here. The configuration phase will build the task graph, and then the execution phase will do any of the work that we need to with that task graph. Again, in this case, all I'm doing is just changing a very simple version variable, but we can, sky's the limit. So that is section 2. We thank you for sticking with us through it. We're going to move on to section 3 next. Thank you.